Today we're going to take our readers and viewers on an adventure. We're going to visit the Bologna Institute of Policy Research. Let's walk in here. Johns Hopkins. Oh, hi, Catherine.
Good morning, Nelson.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. I'm telling our viewers we're going to have a tour of the Bologna Institute of Policy Research. Is that all right?
My pleasure.
Shall we go along?
Welcome you. Come on in.
Great, thanks.
Welcome to the Bologna Institute for Policy Research. We are just getting our offices ready for our launch in October. I just started to hang our first pieces of artwork on the walls.
Wow.
And I'll take you right away to the director's office,
All right.
Professor Erik Jones.
Oh, our readers know him very well, but we're not going to ask him about interviews today. Professor Jones, how are you?
Hey Nelson, how you doing?
All right. Well, Catherine's taking us on a bit of a tour. Should we do that and then come back?
That would be great. Is that okay with you guys?
Sure.
Okay, we'll follow you.
So here's our director's office.
Our viewers will remember the bookshelves, which have been moved.
And they remember the boxes.
Yep, that's true. They remember the boxes.
This is the administrative office of the Institute, where I am currently working. Professor Jones, we're ready for your interview.
Great.
Can we come in?
Sure.
Today we're talking about the Bologna Institute for Policy Research. Thank you for the tour, Catherine, and Professor Jones. Just if you could tell us briefly what is the idea behind the Institute and what do you hope to accomplish?
Well, the idea behind the Institute is to take what we do at the Bologna Center and do it a little bit better. And doing it a little bit better means getting a lot more synergy out of the research that's being done, both by our resident faculty and by the many adjuncts that we fly in from across Europe. Most important of all, I think we want to do things better in the sense that we want people to know about what's going on at the Bologna Center. We're going to have a very intensive media strategy so that when you go home, if you're a student here at the Bologna Center, to tell your parents about what you do, you won't just say, well, I work with these people and I'm over in Europe or I'm over down in Italy or up in Bologna, depending on where you came from. You know, to say, this person that you just saw on TV is the guy I'm studying with in that class. Interests of the Institute and the interests of the Bologna Center are organic. They emerge out of the people that work here and the place that we live in. So, for example, we're obviously going to be interested in the transatlantic relationship, and we'll talk a bit about the implications of changes in the transatlantic relationship. We'll look at the economic and financial crisis and the impact that this has had on the development of advanced industrial societies in developing countries, because that's what we've always done, is look at these kind of economic concerns. We're going to talk a bit about energy and the environment. Now, this is not something that we've been particularly strong in the past, but under the leadership of our director, Kenneth Keller, who is himself an expert in science and technology policy. We've been moving forward on this research agenda. We're interested in European integration, for example, and comparative integration more generally. We're interested in the political transformation and stabilization of Southeastern Europe and obviously the Middle East and North Africa. And we'll pay a lot of attention to what's going on there.
There are a lot of think tanks out there in the world, a lot of policy research institutes. How do you distinguish yourself from them?
Well, we're different from a think tank for the simple reason that we exist as an integrated part of a major teaching facility.
We've seen that you're in the early stages of moving in. What's your time frame for having the center fully up and running?
Well, we are going to launch formally with the start of the academic year, and the start of the academic year is the beginning of October.
Right.
That said, we want to be ready for operation well in anticipation of that.
Last question. You mentioned the obvious intellectual connection that students will have with your institute. Will you have any internships?
Well, we have plans for giving money to students because, let's face it, if you're a student, there's nothing more attractive than money. Now, having said that, our real goal is to get students involved in the activities of the Institute. I mean, we want students to learn by interacting with people from outside the Bologna Center, and the only way that we can structure that effectively is to create the opportunity. In creating that opportunity is what the Bologna Center is all about.
Professor Jones, thanks very much for your time and all the best in your project.
Super, thank you, Nelson.